everyone, and welcome to episode 44 of the Polar Gamers podcast. This week, I am joined by Charlotte.
Hello.
And our producer, Cameron.
Hello.
And our special guest, Brad.
G'day.
This week, there's fuck all to talk about. So we're just going to chat shit for a bit. I mean, if you were here at the pre-show, we would just spend 15 minutes talking about the new Thor movie and Marvel movies in general. So we're just going to kind of see what comes up.
Didn't Ubisoft just do their thing?
Did they do a thing?
They announced something.
I think they announced
September.
what they're going to do. It was an announcement of an announcement, which is, always this classic fucking Ubisoft.
We love that.
I mean, God of War got a release date.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay.
Never heard of it. Never
All
heard
right.
of it.
Before we get into the news, fuck it. I'll just say it now, yeah? So Thor... Fuck, why did I say Thor? God of War, Ragnarok, is
Thor
coming
is
out...
in that game, yeah.
Yeah, coming out
God
November
of Thor?
9th. Mm-hmm. God of Thor, yeah, that's the fucking... Anyway. November 9th. Right after we've had so many discussions about fucking Santa Monica developers getting sent dick pics and all that to get a release date out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyway...
I did see that collector's edition and not see
it
memes.
fucking looks amazing. Mm-hmm. I've not seen a collector's edition.
The one that I
while.
posted.
Yes, the one you posted, Charlie. Yeah, that exact one. Yeah.
With the big boy blue.
Yeah.
But going back to
hammer.
Ubisoft, Skull and Bones, the game that all of us have been anticipating for a while.
Mm-hmm. The real undead game. Yep.
Is coming out the day beforehand.
Wow, that's a...
I feel like they just really want to fuck over Skull and Bones.
Man,
Well, they announced the release date before God of War announced it, didn't they?
Yeah, it was like a day difference, yeah.
Yeah.
Does not surprise me.
That's
I won't be surprised if there's a delay till January then.
Did you also see that E3 is coming to 2023?
Yeah, I did see that.
And Summer Games Fest, surprisingly.
I preferred...
Yeah, right.
I preferred the Keighley version.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I think that. Well, I'll be interested to see what that kind of means in 2023.
It'll be weird for them to have actual competition now.
Yeah, what is an E3 even going to look like at this point?
An E3 looks like Julius Caesar in front of Jeff Keighley with a bunch of knives.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah.
That's 100%.
Most of the E3 was pretty empty already because most people pulled out and they were just doing their own things concurrent with E3. It wasn't actually part of E3.
I mean, yes, you're right. Sony had already done that. I mean, Microsoft basically they did their own thing because they owned they had the naming rights for the fucking studio where they do this stuff. And it was like EA never had anything to show. Activision didn't do it anymore because fuck knows going. Well, they had BlizzCon for their Blizzard stuff, and the only other thing Activision makes apparently is Call of Duty. So
yeah,
EA comes out on the stage. We've got a new game. Then it's just a Rick Roll and FIFA.
The only thing EA really had to show
not FIFA
was
anymore,
skates.
obviously. But
Oh yeah, now it's just football.
Yeah. I was gonna say the only thing EA really had to show was skate, and they did the trailer, we're working on it trailer, which is just a whole bunch.
I
of...
like that though. Them
It's
actually
good.
showing the development stages of it.
Not many dev teams do it these days.
Allison, get out of the way.
So, question: are we doing Song of the Week?
I've been trying to transition it, but these fucking chatty Cathys won't shut the fuck up. So
without further ado, Song of the Week.
Let's take us over to a Song of the Week that
Fucking
I
talk
wrote yesterday.
as I press play.
Start again. We'll fix it.
Unbelievable, Cameron. Unbelievable.
I'm on another run now. God's up on the mountain, and I'm gonna have to fight 'em all. Got no time to slow down before Red leaves Game Pass. I've got my second win now, so I'm careful not to blow it. Unlock a family member, the one with fists and whips. Through the monsters I will rip. Children of Mortar.
Alright, is it Children of Mortar?
Well, the game is Children of Mortar, yes.
Alright, sweet, I got it. That's good enough for me.
Nick says he knows what it is.
Yeah, I definitely know what it is.
Yeah.
Yes, I also know what it is.
Yeah, sure you do, Cameron. It is not Mumford & Sons.
No.
Kobe, but thank you for playing. I appreciate it. Brad, any ideas?
No, like I said, I thought it was in excess, but not too sure.
All right, Nick, do you want to put us out of our misery? You know what it is? I want to hear his guess. The man, half the time we listen, I just want to hear it because he's
title yeah,
there we go.
Yep. Who?
The song is Gloria. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll accept either versions of it.
Yes.
Yes. Laura Branigan.
Branigan.
Not the original, but I will. Yeah, that's fine. That's the one everyone.
That
knows.
works. That's the most common.
Fantastic. Oh, you definitely have. You definitely have.
Yeah, you would have heard.
I
of the
would
song.
play it, but DMCA. I'll send you a Spotify link later.
She's the same singer who did Power of Love.
No, well that's Huey Lewis.
Wow, but she recorded it.
Sure.
Too.
I will say what else was the thing? It was the other song that she did. That was I am suddenly blanking on. Oh damn it.
While you're deciding that,
yes.
You guys ever remember the show Cash Cab?
Yeah.
Cash Cab.
Yes.
Yeah, Nick would be the best person for that.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
he
Nick would be
would.
amazing
Fuck yeah.
at that. Yeah.
And I just think Nick getting excited in the back of like a CD cab would be fucking funny.
That's my dad. Yes.
Anyway, moving along.
All right. Well, let's have a chat with Brad here. It's been a little while since he's been on the show.
Yeah, it's been a bit.
How have you been, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Just, same shit, different day, work.
You play some video games in there sometimes?
Oh, I squeeze some in every now and then, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good because that's probably what we'll end up talking about.
I think that's the point of the show.
Well, I mean, debatable.
The
At
point.
least we can prove he exists.
Yeah, exactly. You are. Yes, we can see you're on video. So
Brad
that's
is
good.
not a ghost.
Most people aren't even going to get that joke by this point. It's been so
I
far
fucking
removed.
know.
It's one of those just ongoing memes.
I'm glad you said Brad is not a ghost and clearly didn't state that he was a mistake.
What? Jeez.
No. I'm just gonna say, like, how many episodes have we lost of footage because of Brad?
Oh, like
Let's go back to RGS days.
It's fine.
I love you, Brad.
Wow.
We're on top of things for Hall of
We
Games.
only made a mistake on it 2 times. One was
2 times.
one was I forgot to press record,
Yep.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
and I can't remember what the other thing was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Now,
But
Matt,
anyway,
Matt can confirm that the reason that we do the podcast the way through Zoom now is mainly because of Brad.
Oh, bullshit.
no, that's not.
That's a half truth.
Okay,
That's not-
I was around when the one episode happened where you just didn't record your audio at all, so it was only 2 halves of the audio, and so that episode had to be scrapped.
Well, not scrapped so much as heavily edited to anywhere Brad was talking about anything.
Yeah, because I had to help you.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but no, I mean most of the time it was just because most of our guests wouldn't know how to record audio if they
Yeah, that's
fucking needed
true.
to. So
That's
we
where the
just-
clap came from.
that is where the clap came from, allegedly. Well, let's probably get into our community question then. Cameron, you've pitched something to our audience. What was it?
I thought, like, once a week we're gonna come out. Like, I've just left it to last minute this week, but just ask a community question that people can answer to the best of their ability. And why am I not surprised to get the answers that we got this week?
Well, you should have thought about that
yeah.
before the question.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
no, you
Let's
fucking
go for
family
it. Let's
feuded
go
the
for
fuck
it.
out of that.
Come
Let's
on.
go for it.
Let's go.
So our question for the week is, outside of achievement hunting, what's something you do that gives off the same satisfaction as a completion? Now, I expected one. I was thinking it was either going to be Aptos or it was going to be Kirby. I could have put 10,000 on one of that, and I would have come out a winner. Somebody was going to mention 6.
I mean,
if they didn't do it, I was going to say it.
I mean,
was,
which
like,
is fair.
This close.
to be fair, Simone is the one who mentioned it. So,
Yeah,
like,
Simone did
No,
say that too. And it was
Kirby
Simone,
did first, didn't he?
Kirby was first.
Yeah.
yeah.
Simone
Which is
did it in her long list. It was her first one.
on the
in her
topics.
list.
It's quite fitting. Yep.
Number one with the bullet. Yeah, which is, fair enough. Although, to be fair, I think that talking about it kind of goes against sort of the demographic of people who would watch and listen to this show. So we probably want to come up with some other ones.
Cool.
Um,
Cleaning up emails.
Well, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of like one of those things. Like, what are your hobbies that you do outside of that? And, like, ones that you actually get some satisfaction out of it, right? I guess that's the question.
Sure. I don't know. I mean, all I fucking do is play video games. Like, that's...
Yeah.
I mean, I go to the gym, so losing weight's always a nice satisfaction. I haven't had that one in a while, but
Hey, I mean, for you, it's also calorie counting too, because I know that there's been times where you've like counted during a day and been like, okay, this is a really good calorie day.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like, it's,
So that
like,
does count for you, actually.
yeah, gamifying things helps me a lot. So that's kind of like, but it doesn't, definitely doesn't give me the same satisfaction as sex or completions.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what mine would be.
Or completion.
Brad, have you got?
Yeah.
Have you got one?
I don't know. I don't really do much else, to be honest. Don't have much time for much else.
I guess a new one for me is painting.
Zach, well, at least my answer was more PG. Why won't somebody think of the children?
If children
Wait, what?
We don't want to mention children.
That's inappropriate child abuse if children listen to our show.
Well, anyway, I'm not. Yeah,
we're
we're not discussing that. We'll move on.
No,
Yeah, no, painting for me, I think, is a new one, but
to me, Lego is quite one recently. Like even just seeing that Bowser set that's coming out for Nintendo with 2,500 pieces for $400 looks amazing.
I'd like Lego, but Lego's too expensive.
Yeah,
that's always the thing, right?
I only get it on sale.
Yeah.
I really wanted that Star Destroyer, but $900.
Actually, D&D for me.
I'd like to play D&D, but don't know anybody to do it with. So
yeah,
I don't know how.
See,
to
I'm in
D&D.
3 D&D campaigns, and
I mentioned it. I've actually mentioned it to Cameron like 2 or 3 times, and he said he wanted to organize something, and then he doesn't.
I organize enough shit as it is.
Why
am I the one
That's your
who
job.
always...
You're the media manager.
Okay, if I can cut back on my D&D campaigns, then I'll do something.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm already in 3. I can't handle more than 3.
D&D is always an interesting one for me because I always like the idea of D&D more than playing it because I'm always like I'm just not creative enough on the spot. So I was like, I always like hearing about it and like I'm interested in kind of the culture and the thinking surrounding it, and it's like a really cool thing.
After that Vox Machina showed up on Amazon, I started watching Critical Role, and I've actually been really enjoying it.
A lot of people recommended Critical Role for me.
There's a few other really good podcast ones too that my friend Mike listens to a lot of them, and she's like addicted to them now. And I'm like, I told you you'd like D&D.
See, D&D feels like sport to me though, yeah? It's one of those things that, depending on the sport, is enjoyable ever you play, but if I watched it, I'm bored.
I
Well,
think
Critical Role is good
depends on
because
who you're with,
like
as
big
well.
name voice actors doing it.
Yeah.
As well. Like Matt Mercer, Travis William, and Liam O'Brien.
Like
Liam
I've
O'Brien
given
is
Critical
voices
Role.
in
I
the-
like Brenner.
Yeah, I've given Critical Role a shot before, but it's just that level of, like, unless I'm engaging with that level of content myself, like actually participating in it, it's like sport to me. I can't watch soccer, but I can play soccer.
So I used to watch a series called Roleplay, which I guess is a good pun. And they did like a bunch of different like D&D campaign series. So they did like Swords and Sorcery one. They did one called Swan Song, which is Stars Without Numbers, which is a sci-fi one. They did the one called Nebula Jazz. And so they had like sort of YouTube personalities do these. So it was kind of like, they were people who like kind of were like not huge names, but also weren't like, literal, like who the fuck is this? And so they had a little bit of like charisma and personality, and they knew how to like tell a story or, act up and that sort of stuff. And most of the time it was pretty good. And so that was the kind of stuff where it was like that kind of, I just kind of watched it for the narrative because I was kind of interested to see kind of where they went. Like it was a bit more of a slightly more directed campaign as opposed to kind of more freeform stuff. Because it was also like it was like part D&D, part production, right? So that kind of stuff, like Critical Role, I feel like is kind of similar to that, right? Where it's like they try to keep things moving along because they understand that they're going out to an audience more than just
I
Well,
prefer
they do try and
stuff.
keep it moving. Yeah,
They have smaller campaigns that I actually prefer rather than going for that mainstream Critical Role. This is the main. There's a couple of smaller campaigns that are actually I find more interesting because it's not like fully mainstream like that.
Yeah.
But I prefer playing than I do watching. And like my next thing that I would like to do is DM a game, but that's like next step, and I'm not there yet. Like I've got a lot more to learn before then. But I've been in a campaign now for 2.5 years. One of my other ones has just started. Another one I've been in for over 6 months now. So like once you get in, you're in. Like
Yeah, so like I've been in a couple of games, and like I enjoy it for the most part, but it really you have to have a really good group. That's the thing, is that like you need a good.
It depends on the people you're with.
so much because there's so little else there that it's like, you know, you need a good DM and you need a good, you know,
you kind of need to gel with people, because like I've played in a game before, and like it was one that actually Matt was in. It was like a one-off, and not everyone gelled. There was a clash between one of the players who just was like sticking to their guns, and they stuck to this is my view, this is what I think my character would do, and basically it went against everything the party kept trying to do.
Yeah, like it turned out fine.
Because the rest of us were murder hobos, and they were way too good, lawful good, and it didn't clash. It clashed real badly. So it can really depend. Like it can go real well and real smooth, and you'd have lots of fun, or it could go really badly and then put you off it.
Which actually reminds me of video games quite a bit, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I have
that
similar sort of experiences. But like I'm the kind of person who like loves ticking things off lists. I love deleting things that I'm done with them. I love having I have a work Trello, and I love moving things from the fucking, you know, in progress to the complete file. Like
that's why we have the Trello for the podcast, right?
Similar, you just archive it. So like that's like it has like completions for me, or finishing things, or you know, putting things to bed. Like that's something that I just love, like in my everyday life, of just kind of like, you know, achieving things in general, and like achievements were just kind of a natural extension from that. Right? You go, exactly. Crossing things off a list.
Crossing things off a list is a do a work day kind of thing.
You get your dopamine hit, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, and like I used to do that in video games before achievements were even a thing. Achievements were just the next logical step for me to basically track that in an easier way than writing it down and remembering all the games I'd completed myself.
Yeah.
The other one I wanted to bring up that Simone said too, making a meal that makes my husband go ooh. Like that was a really good one for me, because like I like, biggest problem I have in my relationship with Nikita is like I'm the kind of person that if somebody shows me like some like weird food combo or something, I'm like, okay, I'll try this. I don't care.
We know. We're aware of that.
We are well aware.
That's like
biggest two things is she won't have sauce on pizzas. And like a lot of sauces she just won't try.
Yeah.
And it's just like it feels like, you know, trying to get a boulder up a hill, trying to convince people this kind of stuff, but I think it's a completely different subject, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, I can't cook. Well, okay, that's not true. I can cook. I just don't enjoy it. So again, cooking's never anything I've ever got sort of satisfaction out of. It's just kind of been a necessity.
To me, it's a patience thing. Because, like, as achievement hunters, we kind of just want that dopamine hit straight away.
You want to get the food straight away, and it's easier. Like I know that.
I also hate the idea that if I fuck it up, it's kind of on me, and I'm stuck with it.
Nah, that's true. But at the same time, practice makes perfect, and the more you do a task, the more you're going to get better at it.
Yeah, I think it's like I love cooking. I love cooking, but I don't do it for just me. Because it's just like there's no point. It's just me. But if I've got other people to cook for, I freaking love it. Like I love making full risottos from scratch, including making my own stock and stuff like that, and that's really satisfying when you do everything from scratch and make the whole sauce yourself. That 100% that would be on my list if I did it more.
You guys make me hungry.
I think it's like at the same time it's therapeutic to when
I don't think so. It feels like such a waste of time. You spend an hour cooking to eat something in 10-15 minutes.
That's kind of how I feel too.
True.
I mean, it depends what it is for me. Like, I can make really good knockoff KFC recipes.
No, it always comes back to KFC.
It always does come back to KFC, but like that's the first thing I usually go to. But at the same time, Nikita's impressed because she just has that kind of, I don't want to say skill ceiling, but like, you know, she just hasn't applied herself in that way to do that kind of stuff.
Which is fair.
That's a really fancy way of saying she sucks at cooking.
No, she's really good in other aspects, whereas I'm really good at making junk food.
Yeah, that's true. You could deep fry anything, right?
100% I can deep fry anything.
Well, we have an air fryer now in the house, so everything gets air fried now. It's
I love air fryers.
freaking, like, it's insane. I swear, it's changed our lives. We're now air fryers.
What was the other question that we had?
I was going to quickly finish off too. Like Zach said, typical gym stuff and ties back with your stuff. Yeah, cleaning. I think like anything that provides a small kind of like dopamine hit or improves your quality of living.
Yeah.
In that day.
See, I am perpetually content, so I don't really need the dopamine.
I get what you mean, right? And I think that it's kind of, it's...
Yeah, and it's also a little bit tricky because like like especially for me with my ADHD and things like that, like I will start something and then get distracted and go do something else. So like I've got a lot of work in progress things. Like I've got like a shit ton of like art things down here that are half done. So the whole completion thing is really hard for me because I don't tend to get that. Like I need to really work for it to get the completion, so it's even harder.
It's funny you mentioned that because we both have ADHD, but some people tend to tell me that I should be the one getting completions. Anyway.
Hey, I got 3 completions in the last 2 days.
We'll be power washing plenty sometime soon.
Yeah, the power washing, exactly, right.
None of you ever have power
games, it just takes me a little bit longer.
So Alison said too, none of you'll have Power Wash the Dirty Driveway. I am so fucking happy that Power Wash is coming to Game Pass.
Oh my god, Power Wash.
It's going to be like getting achievements and having that simulation game of like improving. It's just going to be mint. Anyway. Did I miss the Power Washes?
Yeah, no, you missed the whole segment, mate. It's unfortunate, but it's fine. You have to just listen to the recording.
And yeah, the other question was Isaac asked about the TA's Bean Dive. Are you going to beam dive any games for the event? I don't need an event to beam dive games. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you don't need an excuse.
I've been good this month, actually. I don't think I've started anything yet.
It's been 8 days.
So what? I know you say that sarcastically, yeah, but that's an achievement for me.
Which is hilarious considering he started games in June. When we weren't starting games in June.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
What have I done? I've completed both Stacks of Carrion.
Yeah.
And I've nearly done Lethal.
Well, you started those, I guess. So yeah, I guess. Well, Game
Pass. You started and finished them.
I didn't know. I had already started them.
Oh, had you already started?
They were part of the.
Oh, that's right. Of course, right. Yeah.
So I was going to have a look at something.
I don't know. I mean, for me, like, obviously the answer is no. Like, why the fuck would I ever do that to myself? That's literally the antithesis of everything that I do about video games. However, I'm not, like I said, I'm very susceptible to peer pressure. I'm always very tempted, because it's like I have a backlog of about 100 games that I haven't started, plus all the Game Pass stuff. I've never been dive anything I don't own. Like Game Pass stuff is just asking for trouble.
Yeah.
But like if it's in my backlog, I might bean dive a few. I don't know. Like I'm trying to go more and just kind of pick things out and just do them and kind of.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of bean dive because it puts too much pressure on me, and I'm already under quite a lot of pressure to get to 80% completion before the end of the year. So like this, like I didn't start any games in June. I maintained that the whole entire month. July, I've started 6 games and completed 3 and played 9. So we'll see how this month goes. But my plan is to do a backlog game, start a new game, backlog game, start a new game, but complete them.
Yeah.
So they always have to be completed. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to do something similar once all this other stuff gets cleaned up. But it's best laid plans and all that sort of thing.
Like, mine's pretty much going to be the case of like I'm just going to play a game, see if it gels with me, perhaps get a few achievements, and then just move on if it's not the right thing.
That's what I've been doing, and it's so much nicer.
No, that's the thing. Like, I'll come back to get, like, events like Back to Your Backlog with the Xbox cast are good because...
Isn't it nice when you don't have people peer pressuring you into getting a higher completion percentage?
100%.
I can't be peer pressured.
Look, the only...
Well, mine is if you don't get to 80, I'll break up with you. So,
Yeah, to be fair, Dio is,
he's one of a kind.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
And a troll, but it's fine. I've accepted this.
You're my peer, Kirby.
Anyway, should we get into the news?
Yeah, what have we got this week, Cameron?
Let's go.
So I think the main, like, it has been pretty much quite a news week. I've pulled from VGC, Video Game Chronicle, for a lot of these stories. But the one that I haven't pulled out that probably will interest the community the most is Games with Gold is phasing out Xbox 360 games come October.
Yes. Because they've reached their limit on what they can pull out, apparently.
So... Alright, so the main story is basically just that. Microsoft has announced that Xbox 360 games, including Games of Gold, will be phased out soon. This was all sent to by an email to Xbox users, I believe, on Monday?
Yeah.
I mean,
but
it's not surprising, is
Yeah.
it? Like,
not hugely.
I mean-
people have been talking about this.
It
for a
had
while.
an end date.
Yeah.
It was going to happen eventually.
Yeah.
and now they're just moving on to Xbox One. So like, it's not like we're not getting games.
Well,
it's
they haven't
just
said they're
360.
going to expand it, have they?
Yeah.
No, well, they have said that they're going to pull in more Xbox One.
Right.
Well, they said they're going to continue with the 2 so far, but they
Yeah.
haven't confirmed
Yeah,
if they're
okay,
replacing the others. right?
Yeah, they haven't.
The exact email
Yeah.
was beginning with October 1st, 2022. The monthly games Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and Xbox Live Gold members receive through Games of Gold will no longer include Xbox 360 titles.
Yeah,
So it sounds like they're going to.
so it's just those ones.
We've
Yeah.
reached the ability to add Xbox 360 games to the catalog. However, Games of Gold will continue to feature exciting Xbox One games and exclusive savings each month.
I reckon
Because-
if they just put one extra Xbox One game, then that'll shut the windows up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
probably.
I've seen a lot of people talking about just the games. I'm curious of Games of Gold as in its entirety, yeah? Because a lot of people just think of just the games that you get for free for a month, but a lot of it leads into sales as well.
Yeah.
Like gold sales actually being on the store.
Well, yeah. I mean, you also you still need Xbox Live Gold to play online at the end of the day.
For the
Like-
most part. Like we have free to play titles and that.
Sure,
that
free to
doesn't
play,
count.
but anything that's a standard non-free to play game, you still need Xbox Live Gold to even play
Yeah.
online, which is nuts. But like that was the reason the service existed in the first place. They
Yeah.
added extra stuff on
The
there.
entire time you haven't been paying for games with gold, you've been paying for Xbox Live, and it's just a perk.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good perk, to be honest. Like I've got a few extra things in my collection that I probably wouldn't have touched, and like the 360 stuff, they've kind of hamstrung them stuff a little bit because all of those games have to be backwards compatible, right?
Yeah.
Like we were going to hit a wall eventually, and I imagine when they say they exhausted all their options, they've gone out to developers that that don't have games on the service and run into like brick walls, whether it comes to licensing issues, whether it comes to just being able to get the game to run on newer hardware.
Yeah.
Some that are just it just breaks down and you just can't get a port over.
Well, they're obviously not going to be, because they shut down the backwards compatibility program a few months ago, right? So that was the end of that for 360. So there are a limited pool of games that they can pull from. They definitely haven't hit all of them, not even fucking close. But it's one thing to go and do a conversation to get publishers to bring things over for backwards compatibility.
Yeah, and then you got to talk them into giving it away as well.
Exactly, right? And that's the tricky bit, and especially when they're like, a lot of these companies don't have any investment in those things, so they're like, well,
And
why
then
would
there's
we-
licensing as well. They might not even be allowed to give it away anymore.
So
Exactly, publishing might not even exist. Like,
licensing, the publisher might have been defunct by this point in time. There's like so many different factors that you gotta consider. Like the fact that backwards compatible grew to the size that it was, to me was incredible in the first place. Especially like when we got that last push of games.
Yeah, that was great. I still have 40, 50 games that I still need to clean up that are non-backwards compatible that I kind of obviously wish there was more.
But then, like, even in party today, Keo and Todd were having a conversation about like this really, I can't remember what the game is off the top of my head right now, but I think it was a JRPG. That Keo said like, I wouldn't buy for $50. We only got 2 in GB when it did launch, and Todd looked it up and it's backwards compatible.
Yeah, so
okay.
could have been Lost Odyssey, could have been Blue Dragon, could have been
It was something like really like
Maybe
a little bit
Infinite
out there.
Infinite
Undiscovery.
Undiscovery or Star Ocean,
Yeah.
one of those two. Yeah,
I don't think
just-
Star Ocean's backwards compatible.
it is actually. I bought it.
Oh, is it?
Yep. Yeah,
But there's-
it was still $40, which is fucking ridiculous. But
that's
saves me getting 3 discs out.
That's the thing. What I'm saying though, like there is games that will pop up that just out of nowhere we didn't think they were backwards compatible, and somehow they've made it in, and we've just missed the announcement or
Well,
just
yeah,
weren't
like,
paying attention.
true. Yeah, that's true.
I'm very happy and dreading the new Star Ocean coming out.
So another 500 hours.
So, I guess the only other question with this is, where do we think? I guess two-parter. Where do we think Games of Gold is going to go? Like, is it going to continue to be part of the Xbox Live and GPU experience, or is it going to be like one of those things that, all right, they do this, they might go like another year and then just get rid of the service completely, or do we think we're just?
I
Gonna
don't think
do
it's
two
going
games?
anywhere. Microsoft has
Yeah.
a real issue with trying to remove features because anytime they do, people lose their goddamn minds.
Yeah.
Bring back Windows Phone.
The problem is they have so much the pro-consumer moves that they do are so good that taking them away seems like a real harsh thing to do.
They've kind of... I don't know if this is the right mentality to have, but it feels like they've kind of painted themselves into a corner with the good guy thing as well. Like, hey, we actually care about you keeping hold of your old games. Like, Sony's going to charge you for a subscription service, and it's going to not even be a native experience. It's going to be cloud streaming. Or Nintendo is just like, you're going to pay $60 for the Metroid games coming out. 1, 2, and 3.
Zach brings up, they got rid of Snap and Connect, and like Snap, I agree, is kind of a bit of a weird one, but Connect was kind of the thing where they got rid of features that weren't being used or weren't super popular, whereas opposed like this is popular, right? Like people like this, they're literally giving you, quote unquote free games for a service that you're already paying for.
Yeah.
So like it's a tougher pill to swallow. Like I don't think they have no reason to get rid of it, right? They're already having the conversations for Game Pass stuff. This works pretty similar to that, right? Like you only get to keep the games as long as you're subscribed to the service. As soon as you unsubscribe on the Xbox One or on that sort of generation onwards, you lose access to those games. It's not like the 360. So that conversation is a lot easier to have, I think.
Yeah, but is it? But then they say in the email that the 360 ones that we get to keep.
Yeah, so
Is
yeah,
it right?
that's what I'm saying. So
Cool.
The way the infrastructure worked when they set it up was that they didn't have a way of taking the games off you, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
They didn't set that up till the next generation, and now that's kind of how it all works. And I've got Game Pass Ultimate for the next 2 years or so I'm not too worried about it. But it's like
the only time it kind of affected me is that like when I stopped with Game Pass Ultimate and then was like, oh, now I don't have access to all these games and didn't think about it. And then went, shit, okay. Yeah.
And you lose access to like cloud gaming and all kinds of stuff. And like there are things in there that you just kind of assume you always have.
Yeah, and you just don't think about it because like Game Pass is just so good in terms of what you get from it. That like I just didn't think of not having it. And then the 1 month I didn't have it, I just did not think about the fact that I'd be losing all these things. Including like no ads on like phone apps and stuff like that. And yeah.
I probably should have checked it beforehand, but the only thing that I'm kind of like 90% sure on is I think that whatever games we do get, I think they'll add up to a rough value of like roughly $60 US. I think there's a rough track record of the games with golds usually adding up to like about that amount in value.
Really? Okay.
No, they've had big months where they've had like 100 plus.
Yeah, but I also think that Xbox's pricing for some of their stuff is way out of whack. I mean, nowadays it's a lot better, but the stuff that tends to show up on these services tends to be older games. And they're like, oh, this is a $40 value game. You're like, this. If I went on Steam, I could get this for like $3. What are you talking
about? But
that's completely
marketplace.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Is that I'm saying their pricing is kind of fucked. So they could make it equal $60, but like that's up to them, right?
Right. So last month was $85 in value with Alien Colony, High Rise, what was it? Super Meat Boy and Rascals. I'm just going to quickly go through like Google
was super happy
images.
about last month, right? Or is it this month that they're happy about?
Last month was pretty good in my opinion, but
this month's not bad.
It's I think this month's pretty good as well. I like indies that I don't usually come across. I'm just clicking through randomly. $60, $55, $90 when we had back in March, Flame of the Flood, Street Power, SpongeBob and Sacred 2. 70. That was a while ago when we got Chaos Bane was 100. I know. I think
it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, all over the place. I think like a safe bet would get at least $60 in value.
You hope so.
According to what the story is. Whether that drops to 2 games a month or remains to be 4. I agree with Brad. If we got like 3 Xbox One titles a month, I would be happy.
Yeah. I'm usually happy with the games they put out. Like I own a lot of games, but like the way Xbox One, that marketplace exploded when they made it easier for indies to release titles. Like there's so much shit on there I've never even heard of. And
free
like
games is free games.
Exactly right. And like Game Pass is good for that now, right? but there's still a lot of untapped stuff in there that is kind of lost to time.
I think too with the achievement hunting community, we're kind of like a niche case, like to the typical consumer, because a lot of people will want like, your AAA titles and all that to come with Games of Gold, and I don't think it's feasible.
No.
For the most
Especially
part,
not with Game Pass now, because that's where that happens basically. Is that they put those on there later.
Yeah. Give me 3 to 4 indies that fill in my back catalog that released 3 or 4 years ago, that have like completely fallen off the radar, that get some more life into them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Any closing comments?
No.
No, cool. Next one, Xbox is bringing updates on announced games to Gamescom 2022. So Microsoft has confirmed that Xbox will be back on the show floor at Gamescom this year, offering a closer look at what the next 12 months will have in store for Xbox fans at the late August Expo in Germany.
Which is pretty typical, to be honest. That's usually what happens, is that like the usual trajectory is show a game at E3, have hands on it in Gamescom a few months later.
Yeah. So yeah, not really much to the story other than like I said, it's been a slow news week. Other than just the 50 strong lineup of Xbox releases during the new year, having hands-on demos, upcoming games, behind closed doors, press presentations, all that kind of stuff. Is there anything that's coming out in 2022 that you guys are interested in?
I'm looking forward to that High on Life game. I think that's going to be fun.
High on Life, I'm hoping. I don't like projecting games onto other games just based off their visuals, but I'm getting very Journey to the Savage Planet vibes.
Sure.
And if it turns out anywhere half close to that, I think it's going to be an amazing game, especially with the voice acting and all that going in from Justin Roiland. I would say Atomic Heart and Stalker for me.
Yeah, if they make it for this year, right?
Yeah, that's going to be the question. My
two just haven't changed, so like.
I feel weird because it feels like Xbox, to no fault of their own, gets into a situation where they have massive lineup of hits over a short amount of period, quiet period filled in with indies and all that to generate hype and keep things going, and then another big period and then just falls apart again.
We've had that for a long time now because of COVID, right? They just got extended out to like 2 fucking years, because all we've been saying is, when is the big killer IP coming out? When's the big big launches coming out to justify the new console? And it still hasn't really happened yet. Like I think we've got some like, not to say we haven't got some good games. Right?
We've got another year, maybe year and a half before there's actual Series X exclusive stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they said they were going to do like the first year, right? So we kind of.
I think they said the first 2 years.
Well, I think they said the first year for first party stuff, I think is what they said. But whether that actually comes to pass, I don't know.
The one game I'm interested to see whether it is a true series exclusive will be Forza Motorsport. Yeah. Because I don't know if they've confirmed if that's coming to Xbox One.
I think they were actually surprisingly quiet about what consoles that was coming to. They said the series consoles, but they didn't confirm the previous gen. So that would not surprise me of that being like the cutoff.
Yeah.
Especially with how good that fucking game looks, because apparently they're looking at that running at 4K 60 with ray tracing on the Series X.
Yeah, but
which is insane.
I don't know if I mentioned here there was something iffy about the ray tracing. They were very specific about, I think, on track ray tracing.
On track, yeah. Well, I think,
and it's what does that mean?
Well, apparently,
like it's only going to happen in one.
Well, if you're playing
situation.
the game, you're paying attention to the track. You're not going and looking at the trees.
True.
Yeah, but I
need ray tracing on my trees.
I think it was also kind of a dig at Gran Turismo, because the new Gran Turismo doesn't have ray tracing in the game itself. It's only when you're in photo mode, basically, or the gallery mode, which is, in terms of things coming out, like, I mean, I'm sure Shard will agree with me on Plague Tale. That's October, right?
Oh yeah, Plague Tale.
Like that one and Hogwarts Legacy. They're my two. They're my two for this year.
When is Hogwarts Legacy meant to be coming out?
End of this year. They haven't confirmed a date
yet.
Yeah,
it said holidays 2022.
October's already looking pretty stacked. They've got, off the top of my head, Scorn, High on Life.
I'm hoping for November, actually. November would actually be a good time. Because it's right before Christmas.
Oh, Silk Song as well. If that comes out this year, that would.
Yeah, they didn't announce a date for that either.
Yeah, I know.
Sometime
Quickly,
in the next 12 months, right?
quickly looking for October. So we got Overwatch 2, Midnight Suns, WRC Generations.
Midnight Suns, I'm definitely
Persona.
down.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Marvel
Plague Tale,
next
Persona 5 Royal, Scorn,
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
High on Life, Gotham Knights, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 remaster.
October's going to be packed.
Yeah.
Yeah, October and November are big months this year.
Yeah.
Which is nice because like that's what we need, right? We want some actual quality stuff to play. Like we've been playing good stuff now, right? But I think that we're all kind of.
But there's
waiting.
been kind of like a lull.
There's gonna be
Like, that's
too
why
much.
we were able to do like even with all of the stuff coming out in June on Game Pass, right? It was still really easy to not play any games in June.
For the most part.
Like
yeah.
there were no games I was fully super tempted to play.
I don't know. I kept hearing about this Naraka Blade Point game.
Oh yes, I wonder.
Pretty
I
good.
who told you about that.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, the only thing that's really interested in me on series consoles for November is Pentiment.
Pentiment.
Yeah, Pentiment looks very interesting.
That looks really
Cameron's
interesting. I would
talking
play
about
that.
Naraka is like that meme with the dude in the club talking to the chick, and she's just
Yes!
like,
Put a
Yes.
hand around the neck
Yes.
thing. Yeah,
I'm gonna
exactly,
turn that into a meme. Oh my god.
Perfect.
What else is
All right.
coming out? I'm just curious for the end of the year. So we've got Atomic Heart coming out in December. And
Yeah,
Stalker 2.
I'm always certain Stalker and Atomic Heart to get pushed. I think that Hogwarts Legacy might get pushed.
I think it will. Just
Um,
because there's been no further news and there's no actual dates. Like they said holidays 2022 and that's it. And there's
Yeah.
been no word since they did that gameplay video. So
holidays usually means like around Black Friday to
yeah, so
start.
like November.
yeah, November. So I'm hoping, but
I mean,
who wants to get their hopes up to have them dashed?
like January will be dead as always, but February will be fucking stacked. Like like February, March are going to be ridiculous next year.
Bot Uprising.
Oh, Session comes out in September as well.
Oh, right.
I know. Anyway, so yeah, not much to say other than that typical update. Rockstar, good old Rockstar, has decided that they don't want to go bowling because GTA, the trilogy sucked.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, so Rockstar has shelved remasters that were apparently planned for GTA 4 and Red Dead Redemption.
That's
Yeah,
because they made them garbage ports.
Well, they didn't.
Well,
even
they
make
didn't do
original
the-
port, right. That was the thing, right? They
Yeah.
shipped those off to Grove Street or whatever the hell that was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think having a remake of 4 is probably would have been a good idea, right? Like I think that.
I think 4 would have been like, okay, this is the hard thing for me because GTA kind of feels like certain games have like nostalgic levels. Like San Andreas was the one that I played the most. So to me, San
City
Andreas,
for me, but yeah.
yeah, San Andreas feels like a no-brainer. But then you might say that Vice City feels like a no-brainer, and they should have left San Andreas alone. I think just doing one complete remaster of one of the titles and then just going off by that would have been better.
Yeah, I agree.
See, I'd rather them go back to the old top-down GTA 1 and 2. They were good games.
Have you okay? Other than Brad, have you played GTA 1?
Yeah, I played 1 and London and 2. Yeah,
So-
and I played Chinatown Wars as well, which is based on those.
GTA 1 is amazing. I have so many nostalgic memories for it. Even though I didn't own a PS1, my uncle used to like bring his over. and stay
Running
for
over the
us
Harry
time.
Krishners.
Saying that, like I recently
I think I
bought.
played 3.
I recently bought Rustler, which is like a top-down medieval one that I still yet to play, just because I wanted that top-down GTA experience again.
It has not aged well, and I don't think that even if you did a remake of it, I don't think people will play it. To be honest, I think we're kind of at a point now where that kind of game just doesn't sell.
GTA
I'd play
1
it.
or GTA 4?
GTA 1,
Yeah.
like one or 2, like that sort of top-down style. I just don't think does like outside of like they did with Chinatown Wars, where they put it on was it DS or PSP or whatever.
Yeah, that was DS, I think.
Yeah, and it was a pretty cool game. But like that was kind of because of the limitations of the hardware, and like I like the style of it, and it was cool. But like I don't think that remaking those first games, like the closest thing we have to that now is what was like Zombie Driver.
Yeah.
Was kind of similar to that sort of style, and like it was a cool game, but like I've never heard anyone else talk about it.
It's just one of those things that's like better replicated in an indie experience these days rather than anything else.
Yeah, and like we've seen a lot of that recently, right? We've talked about how developers have been kind of, or publishers in particular, have been kind of leaving a lot of these old concepts, just let them die and series die, and so they've had like spiritual successors either in name or in mechanics that the indie scene have kind of just taken over.
A good example is that I think Skill Up was talking about this week was Unmetal covering spaces for Metal Gear Solid.
Right. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Exactly. Because it's just we haven't had anything like that in fucking years. And no one's making anything like that, so someone else has to go and do it. And like, I'm totally okay with that. Like, because again, like as much as I love Metal Gear as a series and I love the story and everything, but there is something to the actual sneaking mechanics and gameplay.
Yeah. The only other thing with the story is, this year confirmed in February that active development on GTA 6 was well underway. This is when GTA 6 finally gets a trailer. This will be one of those things that breaks the internet.
Yeah, I could not care.
I know there will
anymore.
people. I know there will be people that couldn't care less. But for the typical everyday consumer, I would take a GTA title as like one of those games you get with a console. It is a console seller.
Yeah, they might as well make the release date a fucking international holiday because so many people are going to be taking it sick to pick it up. Like I get it, right? I picked up GTA 5 day one. Like I back on 2013, which is fucking crazy to think about. And like I love GTA 5. It's such a cool fucking game. But the direction Rockstar went afterwards with the amount of stuff they put into the online and their microtransaction bullshit and kind of like money grubbing stuff, and the fact they continued that into Red Dead Redemption 2, like I don't trust them to make a good game anymore, unfortunately. So like I wouldn't rush out and grab it. I'm interested. I want to hear about it. I want to hear people talk about it. I want to see people playing it. But like for me, I don't know. I think maybe I'm kind of past it.
Do you know what I prefer? Saints Row.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
because it takes the piss out of it, and I love that. It doesn't take itself seriously.
The thing I enjoy most about the Grand Theft Auto games though is like their narrative. Like GTA 5 has such an amazing story. But everything after, like, I think it all comes down to the online. Like, the online was broken for, like, what, a year and a half?
Well, it's definitely broken on launch. Holy shit.
Yeah.
But then it didn't come out on launch, right? That was the thing, is that they had patched it in afterwards because it wasn't done when they released the game.
Like, it's so weird to me that Rockstar, I guess, has this kind of, like, platinum pedigree of, like, being an amazing studio that does all these, like, I would say like above AAA kind of titles.
Sure.
But then at the same time, you've got something like Ubisoft that gets, they get trashed for the titles that they release. I don't see much difference between them other than the narrative.
Well, the narrative is the big bit, right? They were written like, like a Scorsese movie, like that kind of thing. And they had long development and they had a lot of money and time and effort that went into them and a lot of consideration. And they were also usually quite timely. Like they also had a lot to say. And the thing with Ubisoft is that they are a victim of their own success in terms of churning out games way too quickly, and churning out the same kind of game. Like the thing is, the reason why GTA 6 is going to be such a huge release is because we haven't had one in fucking 9 years. And
you can just call Ubisoft games Tower Climber 6.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. It was like they homogenized so many of their games into it that they started making jokes of themselves. Where it was like, Far Cry 5, you climb up a tower at the beginning. He's like, oh, don't worry, I'm not going to make you climb any more towers. Ha, ha, ha. Isn't that so funny? We used to make you do this shit because we made shit games.
I need to ask Shane if there's, like, tower climbing in any of the Just Dance. Like, I'm sure there's a Dance move that's just like this, yeah.
Well, they had fucking, like, tower, like, not so much tower climbing, but, like, map-revealing tower stuff in The Crew, for fuck's sake. So, like, they just... Yeah. And that's a car game.
Nick says, in my opinion, GTA 4's storyline was way better than GTA 5's. I would agree too. I just think that the main thing for me, GTA 5 pushed it forward in terms of having 3 different character perspectives. Yeah,
I think the character stuff was a lot better in 5. I think the overall story was probably a bit more cohesive in 4.
Yeah.
5 was a bit more nuts, but that's kind of, again, because you have 3 different characters playable.
Because 5 kind of feels like the closest comparison that I can draw to it, and it's going to be outside of video games, but it's like Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. Having those 2 different perspectives of the same storyline.
I can see it.
But yeah, we won't talk. I'll quickly mention it. So Bungie is reportedly making a Destiny game for mobile with China's NetEase. This was information that leaked via a LinkedIn profile of NetEase's games artist. It's believed that the mobile version won't be a port of Destiny 2. It will be its own standalone, unannounced FPS mobile game.
Okay.
But past that, like, there's not much information to go on other than apparently it's been in development for over 2 years.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Call of Duty Mobile is still huge over in China and that kind of stuff. Like, there's those kinds of games, take off like crazy. So,
Curious to me whether this is going to fit into PlayStation's pipeline of being another one of those online experiences.
what his question is: it going to make the money?
Really has that much say in it because they pretty much gave Bungie complete autonomy, more or less, didn't they?
Yeah, pretty much.
That was part of the contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, like, is this going to be a mobile moneymaker? Yes. Then Sony's like, absolutely, it's a live service game, and they said they're going to have 10 of them. This can easily be one.
Yeah, that's more so like where I was leaning with it. Whether it's actually, whether they're going to, how do I word this? I think it was a few months ago they were mentioning breaking into different like markets in terms of like, and a lot of people would interpret that as, going to PC. Whether they're actually approaching, which they have been doing. The question is whether they're going to start making approaches for mobile as well, because mobile is a big market that we don't really, I guess, as console players, we don't really consider.
Yeah, because they're lesser humans. Yeah, no, that's true. No, I think so. I think Sony kind of needs to. They need to diversify, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Kind of makes sense.
I think that's going to be 100% the future of Sony's successes to breaking into markets that they don't have. Like, they have heavy control over the console market.
Well, I wouldn't say heavy control, but they do definitely.
They have heavy control over the Japanese market.
Yeah,
and they have a large majority in Europe for sure.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say control. But they definitely have they're definitely market leaders for sure.
Yeah, I should have said market leaders, but yeah.
Unquestionably, yeah, they're definitely leading the race on that. But yeah, they definitely need to diversify.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll keep an eye out for that. What else have we got?
I'll cover the Halo 2 demo if you want to cover the other story.
Sure.
So, do you want to go with Elden Ring first, or?
Yeah, sure. So, for those who've been playing Elden Ring, this is a great story. There's a guy who.
Are you talking about Dan Giesling?
Yeah, we're talking about the guy who's been helping everyone do. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about.
No. So this is
This is the
let me solo her.
Solo, yeah.
Yeah, right. With the guy with the pot on his head and is very fucking good at
did
the
over 1,000 Melania.
Yeah, which is again the hardest boss in the game. Completely fucking broken. Fuck that boss. The only boss
just insane.
The only boss I had to summon for. Everything else I did myself.
Did you meet
and
the guy?
he's made a video and everything.
Yeah.
Did you meet the guy? Was this the guy? That
I know I didn't know. So I done this before I met him. Unfortunately, but yeah. So unfortunately I wasn't one of the lucky 1,000.
Oh damn.
But yeah. So again, he turned into a massive fucking meme. There was some really good pretenders to the throne.
Yeah. No, he was number one.
Yeah. And so they sent him a fucking sword.
A sword.
And like a bunch of other cool shit. Like a really cool care package.
And like a handwritten note as well.
Handwritten note, box, sword.
Yeah.
A few other. I don't know what the knick-knacks were. It's a letter.
There was a
like
bunch
a
of stuff
cloak.
in there. Yeah, there was
like
a cloak
sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks it's really, really cool. And it's funny he was doing it. It's like, yeah, I can still remember my first experience with Soulsborne series nearly quitting because of one of the bosses in Dark Souls 3, which is a complete fucking bullshit boss. It's 100% true.
Udix Gunda.
Yeah, which is just the fucking worst.
The only thing missing from this package is a chamber pot.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you probably could do without that. But no, just kind of a kind of sort of interesting feel-good story, and it's something nice that they did. Apparently, they've been trying to get it to him from but apparently got stuck in customs because it was a big fucking sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had to write on it was a decorative weapon.
Yeah.
So he's like, "What the fuck is coming to my house?" Like,
it's such a feel-good story though. Like that,
It's,
we
it's
don't
a
really
nice
see
thing
it.
that they did.
That's real cool. Yeah.
The guy I was talking about, so he's a streamer on Twitch and does YouTube, and he played through Elden Ring like refusing to ever level up vigor, and refusing to use a shield, not parrying, no magic, and everything.
Wow,
and
okay.
he just beat Millennia after literally 2,999 attempts.
Fuck that. I mean, no vigor means you die from literally anything.
He could take maybe one standard hit, but yeah.
I was gonna say you goes like a stiff breeze and you're fucking done.
Jeez.
Oh man, Elden Ring is such a good fucking game. It's my game of the year by far.
I think in the end it was like 350-ish hours.
Yeah, definitely not worth it.
I was quickly gonna say something about Elden Ring too. I saw an article. I'm just trying to find it. They think it's going to be the best
selling.
selling
Miyazaki game coming soon.
Yeah, apparently there's a new From game coming out.
So
big rumor is it's Armored Core.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
Yeah,
Which will be very interesting to see.
Which is cool because apparently the news is that development on Armored Core started before Elden Ring, so Elden Ring was like the side piece.
Yeah,
that's just what he did in the meantime.
It's great. Like Armored Core is fucking amazing. If you like mecha, it is the pinnacle of that. Well, these days anyway, at least. But they haven't been one for a long time, so it's cool to hear about it.
I think the last one was For Answer
on the 360. Yeah.
Armored Core 5 or Armored Core 4 Answer. I don't know which one.
I think it was 5 and then 4 Answer was afterwards. The games are also way too fucking complex and hard.
They're difficult.
They're not for the casuals. This is a real nerdy fucking mech game. Like you need to be like hardcore into it.
Like they could make what's that old Xbox game where they had the massive deck controller?
Mech Warrior.
No, it was
Steel Battalion.
Steel Battalion. Yes.
Yeah. They could do that for it probably.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That would be amazing. Steel Battalion would be a really good like remake game. I feel just not with the controller.
They tried to redo it with the Kinect, remember, and that didn't fucking go well. You had to like try. It was like, to look out, to put your binoculars up, you had to stand up with the Kinect. It was so fucking stupid.
Oh my god.
The other thing I was kind of quickly mentioned too. The NPD group has tipped Elden Ring to end 2022 is the best-selling title in the US market. As of the game released on Feb 25th of this year, and it shipped 13.4 million units worldwide as of March 31st.
March 31st,
wow.
Yeah, so that's fucking impressive. That's a big hit for them. They're like, wow, this Souls thing is really working.
For a Souls-like game, I would expect something like Elden Ring to get, a very big uptake.
And then EA does that bullshit tweet. She's the 10, but she plays single player.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And
apparently they have a subcontracted group that they do their tweets through, which again most businesses do.
Yep.
But it's very funny because some EA employees got very, very upset by that.
And some EA employees that are no longer EA employees got really upset with that as well.
You want to talk about the Halo 2 thing?
All right.
I just saw this yesterday.
Yeah, so in terms of like this is just cool. So 343 is recreating the iconic E3 2003 Halo 2 demo in the Master Chief Collection as part of a larger modding project to revive cut content. So yeah, I actually had to dig up this trailer because I hadn't seen it before.
Oh really?
It looks amazing.
Oh, fuck, this was again. I was 9 years old at this point. So, this shit was the best. Holy fuck! Like it was so cool. Again, the game didn't look anywhere near as good as this demo did, to be honest. That's where they bet you can't stick it thing, and that was that whole cutscene with they throwing the grenade and
ending it with like a 7 elites.
Thing. It was really cool. So like having this kind of be recreated, apparently it's going to be an absolute nightmare for them to do, because it's based on like old code that was never meant to be really kind of anything. But yeah, I think that's I think it's great. I'd love to see that. I think it's just kind of a cool, neat thing that they can add.
Yeah, 100%. So there's a few stories with like 343 coming out this week. There's the fact that on a much more disappointing news. That they're supposedly going to potentially add microtransactions down the line, which I'm really hoping isn't the case because Halo Infinite is not doing good at all. I think it was like 1/3 the player base of Battlefield 2042 on Steam or something.
You can't beat Battlefield 2042. You're having a bad day.
Yeah, right. Fuck.
I think that was a comparison, but I may be wrong with that, so don't quote
blind
me.
beating the blind.
But yeah, like it's not looking good, kind of thing. I think it's just one of those things that 343 just kind of needs to get content out for the game already. The stuff that was seen with Forge the previous weeks looks amazing. I can't wait to see some really passionate players get behind custom stuff and just really go nuts with it.
It can only get better, right?
Yep. And the other news was...
Well, yeah, currently, Infinite has on Steam 2,077 with a 6,400 24-hour peak.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So,
Okay.
not
I mean,
great.
that's enough of a player base to play some games, but it's
8 months ago, the all-time peak was 272,000.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just Steam, to be fair, but
And then the other good bit news was Halo veteran Paul Bertone, who worked on Halo 1, 2, 3, ODST, and Reach during his 12 years at Bungie, has returned as the studio's technical design director.
oh, cool.
So hopefully, he took a photo of Joseph Staten. I saw a tweet about it. Hopefully, we see some more content for Halo Infinite. It's one of those games that, it was my number one for last year, but it just needs to get content out. We need more maps.
Yeah.
We need the co-op to drop already. That will be that will be an amazing time. But it's
Need to just move on. Halo's dead.
That's kind of where I'm at. All right. You want to talk about some Game Pass updates there, Cameron?
All right. So July's packed so far. All the first 2 weeks of July. So we have July 5th, we got Last Call BBS, which is on PC, has an achievement list, essentially works the same way as one of those Atari kind of collections.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a portable computer in-game that plays 8 different mini-games. List doesn't look too bad, but I'm just waiting for some guides to come out for some of the mini-games and some people to get some achievements in them. Other than that, we had the immensely what's the word I'm looking for?
Surprising?
Immensely surprising Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami, and Yakuza Kiwami 2 re-enter Game Pass, which is really good because it just means that Xbox is continuing to work on the JRPG catalog.
Yeah.
Getting that kind of stuff back, which is good. July 7th, we had DJ Max Respected V, which I have absolutely no idea about. Come to Game Pass.
It's a rhythm game.
What was that? Rhythm game?
It's a rhythm game,
Yeah, I probably won't touch it. I'm tired of those right now. Matchpoint Tennis Championships, which I'm sure Kirby's going to be all over because he's our number one tennis player in the Discord. I think.
I think he's the only player in the Discord.
I was going to say it's him versus the wall at this point. So.
And Road 96, which I'm very keen to check out.
Yeah, Road 96 looks good.
Just other than that,
Are you drunk, Kirby?
I do what? Tennis. You do tennis games.
Tennis.
You're a top spin aficionado. I don't know.
He's always making a racket.
He's always up for some love.
All right, July.
He's always asking for new balls.
Anyway, July 14th, Escape Academy, which I was looking forward to at the end of June, got delayed 2 weeks for them to just make sure it's ready for launch. I thought this was launching with 4-player co-op. It's only 2-player, which I'm kind of bummed about, but it still looks like it's going to be an amazing experience, and people that have played it before at the whatever Jeff Keighley's event was.
Some Summer Games Fest thing.
Yeah, people receiving it really well. Other than that, we have Overwhelm coming in PC, which I know nothing about. Power Wash Simulator, which I'm stoked for. Paw Patrol Adventure City Calls, which I'm going to play with Stephanie. And, of course, Game of the Year, My Friend Peppa Pig. Which I'm sure everybody's going to be jumping on for the fact it's Peppa Pig and not the fact it's a 1 to 2 hour completion.
Well, I was
I'll keep my dignity, thank you.
Yeah, I won't be playing it.
I probably need something for my 1.1 million when I get to it. So
Brad,
just keeping that just in case.
Oh, it's going to be Peppa Pig.
Brad, this is a message from my daughter. Go jump in a puddle.
At least your daughter has an excuse to watch Peppa Pig. She's a child.
You know what? We're going to
Cameron has a child mentality,
We're going to Nikita's grandparents tomorrow. I'm making sure that Paw Patrol and Peppa Pig are installed on the console.
So you can get you some
Okay, fair.
achievements. Yeah.
So she can get some achievements, and I can just watch her play Pig. She loves
Sounds
ugly
like
dolls.
child labor.
Right. Exactly.
You know what? I'll take a second. Outright games have some of the it's licensed stuff, yeah. So it's more expensive.
Yeah.
That's the only downside. But they're the ones that are bringing all this like kid level content across. There's nothing like I don't have a Banjo-Kazooie to show my daughter other than Xbox.
Your
360.
ukulele.
Ukulele, yeah, that's true.
I like ukulele.
Ukulele's
What's wrong with
torture.
ukulele? No, it's not. It's fine.
It was made by the Banjo-Kazooie people.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, it's fine, but like, you know what I really want, and I'll keep
well,
hammering.
you really
this.
want us to be young again and to have nostalgia. Yeah, we get it.
That and a Bluey game. I want a goddamn Bluey game.
game.
Yeah. So it's a
Yeah,
Chris,
see,
back in the comments.
There needs to be. I've messaged Outright Games before and said there needs to be a Bluey game. Just make it happen. If you have a kid and have you not watched Bluey yet, I highly recommend it. Some of the new episodes are fucking funny as. But anyway, leaving Game Pass, we have Atomic Crops, Carrion, Children of Mortar. Is it Crust Tales?
I think it's Chris.
Chris
Crest
Tales.
House, yeah, sorry. And Lethal League Blaze, I will talk about Carrion and Lethal League Blaze in my games that I've been playing. You want to go first, Matt?
Yeah, I'll go first. I'll just quickly get out of the way. So I'm still working on Forza Horizon 5. I've been away this week for work, so I haven't had a chance to play much, but been still doing the seasonal stuff. So we're on season 3 now of 4, and I've managed to get everything so far. So fingers crossed it all works out. I've got a couple more challenges left to do, and then we'll see what next week looks like. Which will be right in time for them to release the new Hot Wheels stuff to ruin any chance of a completion that I wanted. So,
yeah, it'll be a good experience, and the camera will be playing the game again.
Yeah, in which case, again, I don't have the DLC, so I probably won't be playing it. But hey, I'll pick it up.
I'm just gonna wait until you're ready to do Eliminator and just join every single Eliminator match.
That's fine. And then I'll just tell you I'm on Eliminator, and I won't be.
Yeah.
I've also finished the story mode for Danganronpa, the first one. So I talked a little bit about this last week about how I went in expecting Phoenix Wright, and I got Phoenix Wright with a first-person shooter. With the court case stuff was way weirder than
Objection.
I was expecting. But yeah, literally yes, where it's like your facts are called truth bullets for fuck's sake, and you got to select the right one on a cylinder, and you have to aim at
It's
the right
like
one.
spinning in a circle.
It's
Like
spinning
you're
in
in
a
the middle and they're all in a circle around you and you spin. Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes between people, and like there's like phrases coming across, and you have to shoot the right phrase with the right truth bullet to contradict it. And if you shoot the wrong one, you get a time penalty and you lose health. And there are also like noise, like other phrases getting in the way that you have to get rid of first with a different attack, and then you have to do like a timing mini game for like shooting down someone's argument, and then there's like a hangman thing where you have to spell a word using bullets. It's so weird. Yeah. I fucking love it though. It's so like it's very Japanese. I really enjoyed playing through the story. The ending was okay. I kind of, again, most of the cases were relatively self-explanatory, but there was a few aha moments where I was very proud of myself for figuring things out.
Had you watched Danganronpa before?
No, I've never seen anything about it before.
I've only seen one episode of it, and it was a weird-looking show.
Yeah, apparently the anime, like the first season is kind of like shit, and the second season is kind of where it kicks off. Yeah, there's very little like explaining about what the fuck's going on, which is kind of by design because you're kind of trapped in the school. So you kind of don't know what's happening, and you're just kind of trying to survive. Yeah,
it's sort of like you're all trapped in a place and everyone's got like a bomb on them or something, and you have to do
similar,
puzzle rooms, right? Yeah, something.
Kind of, yeah. So in that way, it's kind of similar to like 999 or VLR, the other Spike Chunsoft games. So similar style, but it has a bit more of this actiony stuff as opposed to kind of like more typical puzzles, because there aren't really any puzzles in the game, which is kind of what I was expecting. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. The only thing is that now I have to do this really grindy like school mode to get the rest of the achievements, which is kind of like, okay, it's like a side story where like the thing doesn't happen and you kind of just have to build it. It's just kind of like, weird side shit to just kind of pad out the game, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to do that to kind of grind out the last few achievements. Not really looking forward to it, but I am looking forward to doing the second game, which is also on Game Pass. And by that stage, I think I'll have most of those games completed. I think the only other one would be AI2, which I don't. Again, it's not on Game Pass yet.
Mike played through it this week and he said he loved it.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I'm hoping that comes to Game Pass sooner rather than later. And then I'm hoping that they do, Danganronpa 3, and I'm hoping that they do the Zero Escape, the third one, Zero Time Dilemma.
Just you got a lot of Persona games to get through by then.
Oh, fuck yeah, there's that too. Shit, I keep forgetting about that.
Yeah, you're not even thinking about Persona by.
I'm very busy. I've got like Game Pass is really just kind of completely fucking me over.
This is the thing that scares me. Yeah, as soon as Persona 5, are you doing like Charlotte's doing, waiting for 3 to come out and then doing the series? Or?
That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna do 5. I'm gonna do 5 and work my way to
500 hours.
I mean, we'll see.
That's what that's what the completionist said to get it done.
Well, yeah, but that's the completionist, right? That's a little different. I mean, achievement-wise, I'll look at the guides because they're PlayStation. Again, these games have been on PlayStation. There are trophy guides out for them, so it's not a problem. But again, I just love having cool Japanese games to play because it's like the kind of stuff that I don't usually buy and I don't even know about. And I'm also like, again, a big visual novel guy, and I like these kind of weird, interesting games. Everyone should play Paradise Killer. Also, yes, Forza, and then Children of Morta is the thing I've been working on as well because it's leaving Game Pass, so I've just been rushing through that. I'm in the third area. It's been described as Hades Light, and I kind of agree. I know Aftos thinks it's a better game. I think he's 100% wrong. I think Hades is an absolute fucking masterpiece for the most part. Again, it does drag a little bit. I like Children of Morta a lot. Don't get me wrong; it's a cool game. But it doesn't have nearly the amount of interesting complexity or character development or anything like that.
The voice acting in Hades just
exactly. Voice acting, art style, music. Like, all of that stuff is fucking top class in Hades.
I think Children of Morta still has a pretty good art style, though
I like the art.
A bit different to Hades. But
yeah, it's like, again, it's a sort of like, lo-fi sort of. But it's like the enemy variety is not that great. But again, that's kind of true with Hades. But like the abilities are really kind of where it lets it down. The best thing about the game is that every character plays very differently. And I've been really enjoying kind of flicking between them because there's this thing where when you get to a certain point, they get like a sickness, like corruption sickness that lowers their stats. So it's like you can't just use the same character over and over again. You have to kind of switch them out. So I've been kind of switching between a few of the different characters. The only problem is that like as they're all so different, there are some that are way better than others. So like Lucy and the girl with the bow, and I think Linda and Lucy are like top tier ranged attacks. Kevin is pretty good, but then you get down to like John and Mark, and they're okay, but they just don't like, because they're melee focused, they just keep getting hits too much, and they just kind of don't have that level of survivability. But I'm really enjoying the game. It's kind of it's a very light on the roguelite stuff because like your runs are only as far as like one dungeon at a time. So you can't like the runs are only like 4 levels long at a time at most, with a boss at the end. And the stuff's, you get your levels up. My favorite mechanic is that when you level your characters up, they gain traits that get passed to everyone else. So there's an incentive to actually use multiple characters to level them up at the same time. So you kind of share abilities and share stats. But yeah, I definitely recommend it. I mean, I'm definitely going to get it finished. I made it to the third and final area, so I've got, again, a little bit to do there, and there's a bit of a grind at the end. But yeah, definitely recommend it. Great game. I'm probably not going to have time to do, Chris Tales or any of the other stuff to Game Pass, unfortunately, just because I've been too busy with that, and Spellbreak as well, which I also started, but not much to say there. And yeah, that's me. I don't really know. I'm sitting at 2,470 for this week, apparently.
Yeah, probably should check mine.
Brad? Charlotte, what about you?
Yeah, cool. I've got my list here. It's fine. So I have got 3 completions this month so far. 2 really quick, easy ones. I did Her Story on PC. There's not much to say about it. I did it in 40 minutes. The average time is 50.
Nice.
Which I'm surprised by because usually my times are like shit. I also completed Cross the Moon, which is a nice little visual novel. I quite like visual novels. I like the idea behind them, that I could just listen to the story. Whoops, we've lost Brad. Now he doesn't exist. I have also completed.
Still here, just having a drink.
Yeah, you're all good. This is more fun to make a joke about it. I also completed I Am Dead, so I started this a wee while ago, and I remember talking about it at the time because like someone had screenshotted Charlotte I Am Dead.
Yeah.
Okay. It's an Annapurna game. I actually really love it. It's really sweet. The whole idea behind it is that you play as Morris, and Morris is in the afterlife, and his dog Sparky is there to help him, and he has to find the 6 guardians, because otherwise the volcano is going to explode on the island, and someone has to replace the main guardian to protect the island where everyone is in the afterlife. So the whole thing is you going around to the 6 different locations, and you just have to basically find a shit ton of collectibles. So each location has 5 memories and 5 mementos that go with those memories. So you have to find the memories first. So that there's 5 of them that you have to find in the island, and then you have to find the matching mementos. You also have to find on each location a set of like 8 or 10. Like for one location it was birds. You had to find like 10 birds around the place, or for the museum it's butterflies, that kind of thing. In the lighthouse it's crocs, plastic crocs. The shoes, yeah. And then you also have the Grinkins. So this is full of and riddles. Sorry, I forgot one. So there's 5 different types of collectibles that you have to find in this game. The Grinkins is like 40 something. So one location has 14 of them, one location has like 8, one has 10. There's different.
Use a guide for this, I'm guessing.
Yeah, 100%. So I used 2 different guides. I used a PlayStation Trophies guide to find the riddles and the Grinkins. The memories, mementos, and the other ones I used, I think it was IGN. There's no like one cohesive one, but there's heaps of info out there if you want to do it. Like, the story is really nice. Like, I liked the story. I played it for the story. It's definitely worth playing. It's not too difficult. It would normally, I think, take people about 2 or 3 hours, just me longer because I took a lot longer to play it. The other things I jumped on, I'm halfway through Planet of the Eyes. Really cute little platformer with a robot. I don't know too much about the story just yet, but I'm learning it. It's quite cute. Like, I like it. I've had to dodge lasers. And yes, it's not a hard completion.
Day for a robot.
Yep.
Yeah, basically. And it's 1 to 2 hours apparently. So I'm like, sweet, cool. I also started Apocalypsis. Point and click. Like kind of storybook feel. So it's from what I can tell, I didn't pay too much attention to the story, but from what I can tell, his love died, and so he has to go into the underworld to try and rescue her.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so it's that
the tree of knowledge of
Orpheus.
good and evil.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So yeah, it's like Orpheus and Eurydice.
Yeah.
So it's all about you going into the underworld, and there's different little bits and pieces you have to do, but it's point and click. It's really cute. I like those kind of point and click games. The other game I started and I've been streaming is Lost in Random, and I fucking love it.
It looks so good.
So good. Like, the art style's amazing. It's very much a mix of Alice in Return to Madness and like Psychonauts and that kind of platformer style stuff. Like,
yeah, look, like watching you play it, it gave me a very like PlayStation 2 3D platformer kind of
very
style
much
to
so.
it.
There's not too much platforming, but there's enough that there's like you kind of have to jump and use ladders and move around in a certain way, and then you have to like break a certain amount of pots is one of the achievements, and talk to a certain number of people, and like the characters are really interesting. There's a fish person at one point, and I'm like, why is there a fish person? The combat isn't too bad either. Like, so the combat is based on you. Like, I've just got up to the point where I've got my dice friend, my dice buddy, and you go into the dice space and you roll him, and whatever he rolls, whatever total you get, you can use that towards the cards that you picked up. And you can earn cards by attacking the enemies. So the more you attack the enemies, the more crystals you get, the more cards you'll get to then choose. And so there'll be like upgrades on cards, I'm assuming, or different cards that I'll get as I move forward in the game. Currently the ones I've got like 3. One's a sword, one's a health, and there's another one that's can't quite remember, but the sword's reasonably good, so I've just been using that. We're using my slingshot, so you just run around with a slingshot and you just attack as much as you can. And I'm trying to find my sister. So basically, anytime you get up to age, is it 14? I think it was. So when you turn 14 on your 14th birthday, the queen will appear, and you have to roll her dice, and whatever number you get on the dice is where you go. Basically, like think. Katniss Everdeen kind of style.
I was going to say, yeah, like Hunger
Yeah.
Games. Sure.
Hunger Games kind of style. Like you get sent to that location.
Somewhere between
kind
1
of
and
thing.
6.
It's like kind of dystopian. Yeah, 1 and 6. And 6 is the queen's domain. And it's been a year since then, and so she's been having these weird dreams and seen this ghost, and she's following this ghost. So I'm interested to see where the story goes, because you've got that tie-in with the whole, you want to find your sister, and you're the younger sister, so you're trying to go through the whole process of like trying to save her. But there's also a little bit of combat, there's a lot of platforming. I'm really excited. Like, it's such a cool game. I knew I wanted to play this back before it came out. This was like last year. I remember talking about it last year when I saw the trailers for it, and I'm like, yes, I'm ready. So that's what I'll be playing for the next little while. I'm gonna try and only stream it so that I'm not like going too quickly, because I did do that with Psychonauts too. Like I ran through it real quick. Yeah. I don't know what I'm on.
It was like 4,400, I think, when I just checked.
Oh, sweet, cool. Thanks.
4,000.
I know I'm 11 on the leaderboard.
4,455, yeah.
Sweet. Okay.
You're
Thank
ninth
you.
on the leaderboard. You're doing great.
Ninth. Oh, I must have jumped up.
Brad.
Yeah, I've been playing heaps. I started playing Gems of War again, so that's a thing.
Yep. That's all, well,
That's
Gems
what
of
we
War is
call
always
an
a thing, right?
addiction.
Yeah.
No, I have these stages with like big games like Sea of Thieves, Gems of War, and there's like 1 or 2 others where I'll play it for like 3 or 4 months and just go nuts on it and burn myself out. Then I won't touch it for like a year.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Yeah, healthy stuff. I started playing last night something called Ashes of God's Redemption, which is sort of like it's got a real Banner Saga style to it.
Cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Because I love the 3 Banner Saga games. They were amazing.
They're in my backlog.
Also a game with only 2 people who have completed it.
Well, Ashes of Gods, yeah.
Ashes
So
of
I'm
God's
not worried about
Redemption,
it.
yeah.
I'll finish it. It'll be fine.
Interesting.
What's the rough one? Beat the game with Thorn and Plague Alive in hardcore mode.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, just standard Iron Man stuff.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've already started on the hardest difficulty, and I'm getting through it okay.
I mean, if there's anybody who could do it, Brad, it's you.
Thanks.
That's true.
Played Legend of Bumbo because that came out the other week. Smashed that.
Yeah.
Good old
Still
10
waiting
up
for
tentacles.
still waiting for the last patch so I can hopefully still get the first spot if someone doesn't snipe it from me. But that's probably just going to really depend on the time zones and what time it comes out.
You're
If it
just
comes
gonna-
out
Yeah,
while I'm
what
at
time the
work,
patch
then
is
I'm
out.
screwed.
You're just gonna have to not eat, sleep, go to work,
Not go to work.
or anything before it. You know.
Yeah, well, hopefully it doesn't take too long for the patch to come out, and
Yeah.
it really depends on if it they will unlock retroactively or if I have to start again and do it. If I have to start again, I can smash through it because I smashed through it faster than anyone else did, I think.
Is there like any stats or anything in the game that is saved to it, perhaps, or like
Hey?
like if you go into like a stats menu or anything, does it have that information there?
Sort of. It's all on the character select screen. You can see what's going on. So
So hopefully it does retroactively unlock.
been playing a little bit of Binding of Isaac. Played a little Far Cry lately, just because thought I'd finally get rid of them. And been doing some Tomb Raider on Mondays with Steve, which has been fun. Yeah, and I think that's about it. I'm looking forward to for the next couple of months. Temtem, I just remembered, comes out next month, so that's going to be good.
Is it next month or September?
Yeah. Oh no, it's September. Yeah, it is September.
yeah.
Shit, I thought it was next month.
We're only July.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I saw it down on the day. I saw the 8th, and I thought, oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
American time, not
Temtem.
Yeah, American.
I'm really looking forward to that coming out. And when we were talking about the, the German game show that's coming out, I'm looking forward to them doing more about Starfield. I am looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see kind of a bit more about
Honestly, the best thing about Starfield coming out is that we probably won't have to hear from Todd Howard for a few years because Elden Scrolls is so far away.
Well, he fucking said, well, did you hear the other day? He was like, oh, yeah, we're doing Elder Scrolls 6, and also as soon as we're done with that, we're moving on to the Fallout 5. So he's set up for the next 10 fucking years at least.
Todd, what was his nickname? Todd
the pigeon.
Yeah.
The pigeon or seagull or something like that, yeah.
Yeah. He waits for people to have a bunch of ideas and he just flies by and shits all over them.
Yeah. Oh, my God, yeah. All right, Cameron?
All right, I've got what's the best way to do this? Spellbreak, I'm just going to briefly mention. Been playing a fair bit of it with Todd, Bulbasaur, Keo. Who else has there been?
Yeah.
Me.
Stream, yourself, yeah. Who else? I don't know, played it with quite a few people. I think I did a few matches of Firehawk the other day as well. Really good game. It's one of those games that I'm really enjoying. I'm only realizing because of the fact that it's closing down. Like I said last week, I'm really glad that the devs are, keeping their jobs, just getting moved into Blizzard. But this was a really good game.
Yeah. But it's dumb for dumb's probably a strong word, but it's pretty hard for any indie developer to think that they can create a BR and overtake anything.
Yeah. I don't think there's the intention to overtake, but at the same time,
or to even compete,
to break in the market.
Yeah, and I've been enjoying playing the matches that we did. It's a relatively well crafted game, but even after the 5 or 10 games that we played, I was kind of like, okay, I've kind of seen everything I need to see.
I think it's one of those games though that I might get to the stage where I'm burnt out on it, but for the most part, I'll jump into games with real players and really enjoy it because you get to the end game and it does have that BR feel of matches getting really intense. Even last night when we were streaming, the last match we broke into parties. So Keo and Todd were together, me and Zach with a random that joined in on stream. And that last fight between us was really, everybody was dodging, getting really involved. The more you play, the more you get better at it. You realize you can combo stuff like stone and ice together. You can do that earth shatter move and then do an icicle move coming up after. So it's figuring out those combos. I had no idea until Bulbasaur told me. And I think it makes it for really enjoyable gameplay. So I'm really keen to see what they can. I guess it depends if WoW comes to Xbox. But if those developers are introducing new ideas into WoW, that would be really interesting to check out, especially seeing I've never played WoW before.
Stay away.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Start all the MMOs. Other than that, Driver San Francisco, I started doing the story this week. I think I'm a few chapters in. I really enjoy the gameplay mechanic of being able to, hover above, swap into other cars. But man, how do you explain it saying okay, I ended up in a coma, I woke up, and then I can just randomly shift into other bodies now?
I mean, it's supposed to be ridiculous.
It's
kind of the thing,
it's ridiculous, but at the same time, this story minus
what happens to the people that he takes over?
Yeah, they do explore some of that in the story and stuff, but it's weird.
Essentially, just takes part of their body for a second.
But it was hey, this is a cool mechanic. Let's try and just kind of write a story a little bit around it. That's what happened. It was super basic.
But for a 360 racing / I guess open world racer, it's pretty cool. I think it's probably something that Ubisoft should hopefully explore again in the future.
That'd be great. I really enjoyed it too, and I don't even like races.
Yeah, I mean, I need to go back to the Crew and the Crew 2. In terms of Ubisoft's I guess more one races, but I think for the most part, if they manage to do a similar story around this kind of stuff again and do another one, because there's 2 games in the series. There's Driver and Driver.
There were 3 originally, I believe, on the PlayStation.
But yeah, hopefully when people start playing that, I'll get some of the multiplayer done. But yeah, quite enjoyable for what it is. The main two I want to talk about are Carrion and Lethal League Blaze. I'll get Lethal League Blaze out of the way first. So the best way to describe this is it's a 2D action kind of brawler game, yeah, using a sports mechanic. So essentially, you want to defeat your enemy. There's like 4 health points per side for the most point. And you're essentially just hitting a ball with a bat into your opponent to kill them. And that's essentially all it is, running around that mechanic. Bad things about this is, and how to play in that doesn't really explain like what you're doing. I completed the story mode, got all the check marks and all that for those achievements, and then realized holding X as the ball hits you actually increases the speed of the ball, which was absolutely great. The 1,000 matches does not need to be in there, but at the same time, you can Cronus or Turbo Controller it to, continuously run through, so that's fine. It has one of those achievements that is an arcade mode with doing it with all 10 characters, which is a lot worse than the achievement completing the arcade mode without using continues. Because there's one character that I cannot... Like, each of them have their own kind of, like, mechanics and skill set that, like, will just automatically trigger as you're playing, yeah? You'll hit the ball, and, for example, Candyman will hit through a wall, and it'll come out the other side and hit the opponent. You'll have Switch, Switch is like a bulkier dude that kind of, when you're doing games like volleyball, will hold up closer to the net and just like hit straight down. And then you got other guys that just do their own thing. But it's just been running through that. Speaking of volleyball, the worst achievement I have come across in recent history revolves about you getting 16 back and forths with an AI opponent, which completely just leaves it up to random chance that they won't just absolutely screw you over. I've gotten to 14 so many times, it's not funny. To the point of just like, I'm putting this down, I'm walking away. I've got 3 achievements left in the game. This is a good, fun title, but this is a title that needs to be a 3 to 4 hour completion and not a 15 to 20. Right. It's a gameplay loop that is fun initially, that you can get a few hours in as an indie, but quickly wears thin because it doesn't have enough variety in the gameplay to keep it going forward. What is a much better achievement list to the point that I completed both stacks on the Xbox and the Windows is Carrion, published by Devolver.
Great game.
Amazing game. Best way to describe it is a 2D reverse horror Metroidvania. And I'd say Metroidvania on the very fence of stuff, because it's not traditional in the sense of, you're going back and exploring like so many nooks and crannies.
I mean, you are a little bit with new upgrades, but it's pretty light.
Like, it's pretty light. That's why I say, like, it's on the very verge. To the point, like, some may consider it not a Metroidvania just because of how light it is.
Considering the stuff that I found that got labeled Metroidvania, it's doing okay.
Right. That's what I was just thinking that, yeah.
It basically centers around free gameplay mechanics, which is the combat system, the exploration, and then the puzzle solving. So combat in the game is satisfying as all fuck. To go in, take apart a human, and see limbs like flying like over the screen kind of stuff is amazing. In terms of, your combat, as you progress, you can break open container tubes that help you get new abilities. Eventually will upgrade you into like a level 2 and a level 3 tentacle monster with unique skills. Level 1 has like stuff like invisibility to solve puzzles by going through laser grids. Level 2 has stuff like using tendrils to just add that extra level of combat. And level 3 just is absolutely chaotic when it comes to like combat. Really enjoyable stuff. I would say if you are to play it in the next week, before it does leave Game Pass, this is one of those games that I'd highly recommend picking up if you do miss it through Game Pass. Get the Windows version. The Windows version has access to the debug menu, It doesn't make the game any easier, but you can turn on stuff like CRT. You can turn off fog. There's just a little bit more variety in like what you can do in terms of the visuals. I played CRT in CRT mode on Windows completely, and it looked amazing. Like, it has that old school, like, you know, sit in front of the tube TVs kind of feel to it for the most part, and I really enjoyed that. But I don't think there's any way to access the debug menu on Xbox, which is a little bit of a disappointment. But
my only real issue with the game is that you didn't have a map, right? Like, that's
but it's not that big that you need a map.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is kind of winding and kind of like...
at some point, you sort of get a bit lost with like which tunnel goes to which spot, but then you realize that they have the scrolling names. So
yeah.
So the game is very well like, when I say signposted in terms of like levels, when you enter a level, like it tells you, comes in the middle of the screen kind of stuff. I agree that the fact that you don't get a map is kind of a bit annoying. However, at the same time, if you're playing in the context of the game, I don't really expect a monster to be going, did I go one tube too far when I was devouring those 12 humans back in the nuclear lab?
Yeah, sure. I get it, but from a gameplay perspective, I think it was just like the game is signposted well enough that you can kind of... I got through it without the map at all. Yeah. Like, I only used the guide just to know whereabouts I need to look for the collectibles.
I didn't use the guide, but I did use the maps that were available online.
Right, yeah.
Because
so I set the video up and it's like, okay, the collectibles are in this point in a playthrough. So I was like, okay, I'll just skip to that bit to see kind of where it is. But like, I got through all of it relatively naturally, and I got through it in like 2-3 hours. Yeah. So it's like, it's a short game.
Short game. Then I mean, like, cleanup's probably 45 minutes to an hour,
if that. Yeah, if you need it. Yeah.
Like going back. It's really enjoyable. The story's kind of, I don't want to say vague. Doesn't feel like the right word, but it's like, it leaves enough up to the imagination that, you know, you're a monster. Your main thing is essentially to escape this bunker, to escape and get out into the wild and just kill things. And it kind of made me think after the fact too, like, how many like reverse horror games are there actually out on the market that allow you to play in like such a style as a 2D, like I say again, loosely Metroidvania.
Like, the closest thing I think of is like kind of like Mark of the Ninja, right? But even then, that's kind of...
It still feels like a bit of a stretch kind of thing.
Yeah, because it's still a stealth game. You still quite have to... Yeah, it's not quite that.
Where this is like, for the most part, you go in, you create noise, you tear apart. Unless it's like a very heavy puzzle area, which there are some points in the game. There's some rooms that are essentially like, we're going to just chuck everything at you, whether it's the mech suits, whether it's drones, humans, flamethrowers. I absolutely hated the flamethrowers in some of the areas earlier on. But then there's other stuff that just, you know, it's just like really clever puzzle solving, like botanical gardens, taking over a human in the area before, chucking him through the level, taking him over in the puzzle room to essentially solve it and open one of the last collectibles you need. Yeah, highly recommend. One of those games in a while that I immediately went, as soon as I finished one stack, all right, I'm doing the other while it's all fresh in my head. And, you know, I'll usually enjoy a game, get as most of it done, and then just move on. This is like, I want these completions. I want both of them. And kind of goes back to, like, Devolver really never misses for the most part. They publish some really fucking amazing titles. And I'm really keen to see Cult of the Lamb next month.
Yeah, I'm keen for that.
Yeah, Cult of the Lamb I'm really looking forward to as well.
Just because Aussie devs, Devolver, and it just looks fucking amazing.
It looks funny.
Yeah. Essentially leaves me at 4,296 for the week. I did do a better review for Carrion, which I might post in the podcast channel later. Just as a little bit of a write-up for work. But yeah, highly recommend it. We need more games that have these reverse horror aspects. I wanna play as a monster. I want to tear some humans apart again. I want to create havoc.
Says a lot about you. Charlotte, do you want to run through our leaderboard?
Yeah, so we have... I can bring up the Trello again. Where's the Trello? There's the Trello. In third place, we have a grey shark with 12,740. In second place, we have... Oh, wait, hang on. Is this the right one? Yeah. Okay, sorry. For a second, I thought it was the other way around. In second place, we have Martel on 14,135. And then in first place, we have Red 047 on 24,885.
Good job, guys. If you want to be part of that leaderboard, you can just shoot Cameron a message and he'll add you on True Achievements.
I haven't checked that in like a month. I probably
We'll
should
just do
that.
like a request or something.
Yeah, send me a message. Just remind me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And completions, we have Firehawk D completed Monster Sanctuary. Hack and Pone did One Word. Red completed Cyberpunk 2077. Raptor did a bunch of baby games again, same thing. But also Carrion the Stack and Tiny Tina's Wonderland, so that's pretty awesome. And Galaxy completed Children of Mortar.
Very nice.
All right. And I suppose we should probably talk about the word challenge. So everyone's favorite competition. If you don't know what it is, basically I come up with the game, put a GIF into our bot, and you have to guess what the game is on our Discord server, discord.io/allthegamers. There's a channel in there called Word Challenge, and you can go in there, type the game in. You have to type it in exactly. The bot is very, very particular. So if you're going to waste fucking time typing in The Witness, you might as well type it in correctly. Jesus Christ, you bastards. It's not The Witness.
Spell it properly, at least.
Yeah, exactly. Spell it properly, exactly. Put the capitals in the right place.
The Witness too. Puzzlo Jiggler.
Yeah, the looker, yes. So the first... so basically, if you guess what the game is, you win $20. Simple as that. Each week, I give a clue. The first clue last week was it was a game that has DLC or title update achievements. So it's not just the singular list. Mm-hmm. The new clue is that this game has a stack or other version. So it could be like a PC stack, it could be a 360 stack, it could be a region difference, like a Japanese version or Europe or a German version. But that's all you're getting from me this time. So good luck. Go and hang out on our Discord, say hi to everyone, and then get in the channel. You can make one guess every hour, so you can't spam it, and do one guess at a time. Like I said, it needs to be exact for the bot to get it. Otherwise, I'm not giving it to you.
And if you don't want to waste your guess, you can ask us to bring up the clues. Just ask us in chat and be like, hey, can you do the clues for the word challenge for us?
Yeah, just ping Charlotte 20 times.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Or just fucking scroll up. It's
not that hard. Just scroll up.
I'm going to put the clues in right now. So, yeah.
Cool. Patreon.
Yes, Patreon.
All right, so Patreon draw got drawn last week for June, where a good friend Keo got a copy of Moonlander. He's already started. He said it has very childish humor in it, and he loves it. It's amazing, but it does have a multiplayer aspect, so I'm getting my arm twisted into buying it.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to buy 2 copies. Great. Patreon draw for July 2022. We have choices of Jackbox Party Starter, The Legend of Bumbo, which I'll give out after Brad has got his completion.
Yeah.
Urban Flow and Lumbear Jack.
Lumbear Jack.
Lumbear Jack is currently winning with 3 votes, 50%. However, it does have an unattainable,
okay,
which is like marked yellow in the Achievement Fixes Discord. So you might, I don't know, you might want a code and it might not be fixed yet. Don't blame it on me. Cool. Jackbox Party Starter has 2 votes and Legend of Bumbo has 1 vote. But yeah, be interesting to see what wins out of those 4. I'm surprised. I thought Jackbox Party Starter would be the.
Well, they know you're going to buy it, and they'll just jump on when you play it.
Yeah, they'll just
true.
jump on when I'm streaming it, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway,
you want to read out our Patreon?
Patreons. So we have Nadalator, Firehawk, Mad Lefty, GS Spaceman, Admiral Awesome, Uprising of the Bots, Keo, Happy Moogles, Kung Fu Skills, Hack and Pone, Cavalier 07, Old Mate Clown, joined by us on the podcast. So if you're a patron and you want to be on the podcast, hit me up. However, I have been proactive and I have organised the next 4 weeks, so you'd be like 4 weeks away. We've got a waiting list now. Cool. Mark B and McLovin Legend. Thank you. Without you, we would not be able to run the show. So thank you.
Yeah, your money goes towards basically paying for Zoom, paying for hosting of the podcast.
Yeah.
Fucking Zoom is expensive. I would run this shit through Discord if I could.
Holy shit.
We appreciate you too.
The latest news about Zoom is that it used to be that you used to have unlimited time if it was just a 2-person call, and it was when you added a third person that it became a 40-minute call. That's now for all calls. All calls are now 40 minutes. So they've now fucked us on that. So I'm really glad that we went with Zoom. But whatever, it works for recording. But again, so we do really, really appreciate it. We don't take any money from it. Basically, it goes towards paying for competitions, paying for this kind of stuff, and occasionally for equipment for like cameras and mics and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I break even or lose. So
basically, at this point, we
appreciate the fuck out of you guys.
So thank you. We also have our other podcast, Lights, Camera, and Action, which we do monthly, where we talk about a video game movie or video game related movie. So we're going to be recording that shortly for July, and the movie we picked is Scott Pilgrim.
Yes.
And so we might even have a bit of a guest on for that show as well. We'll see how that goes.
Cameron's not going to shut the hell up about that.
I know, right? Well, I figured we'd just get it out of the way, So yes, there we go. That's.
One of my favorite.
For our audio listeners, Cameron is holding up something that he paid way too much for.
No,
Wallace.
Nikita got me a limited edition punk.
Oh, okay, that's cute.
Pop of
Funko Pop.
Wallace.
So we'll be recording the first part of that relatively soon, and then we'll hopefully have that out by the end of the month, depending on how things go. Things are a little bit busy at the moment, but we'll make it work. If you do enjoy Lights, Camera, and Action, please fucking tell me, because literally no one has ever given me feedback on the show except for
and we'd love to know.
Well, one person has actually. Good old Hack and Pone, I know listens to it. So again, want some feedback? We definitely want to get some of our patrons on as guests potentially, or if you have movie suggestions as well, I'd love to hear them. We want to get a bit more involvement because again,
what have you done so far?
You know what we should do?
I've got the list.
14 movies. Sonic 2.
Yeah,
Mario.
We have a wheel spinner that gives us the next one that I created with all possible gaming movies that are out there. Everything's in there.
And I told them to redraw it, and I got Scott Pilgrim, and I said that's okay.
Yeah. Well, look, we'll spin the wheel until we find something we want to talk about. It's just a nice, interesting.
Okay. What I'm thinking.
Oh no! Here we go.
All right. What I'm thinking. I kind of want to divulge off just in video game movies.
Okay.
I'm thinking we do a Patreon draw. We do a Patreon draw. We message the winning Patreon, just completely all of them are random. Same. Everybody gets one vote each. We message that Patreon and say you've won this month. You pick the movie. What's your favorite movie?
I'm going to make you watch.
Oh no. Okay, well, yeah.
We need to make it like a list of 4 though. 4 movies.
Have you ever heard of a dodgy old Australian movie called Bad Boy Bobby?
Oh my god, what the fuck is that? No, so again,
it's going to be limited to gaming movies.
No, I wasn't going to say
gaming movies. He just said he wanted to divulge.
Hey, let's not workshop this fucking idea on the podcast.
Let's move away.
Let's do it.
All right. So yes, we've done 14 movies.
It's on Netflix
far,
too.
Plus, I don't have Netflix. So we've done 14 movies plus Die Hard for Christmas and that kind of stuff. So if you want to listen to we've got some of the older episodes are available for free. So Mortal Kombat's on there. I think what was the other one? Super Mario Brothers, that kind of stuff.
Super Mario Brothers is in there.
Do you like The Godfather? Something I haven't seen.
Godfather's so good.
To be fair, they made a game of that, so
yeah, sure, they did actually. That's okay. Well, you know what? That's.
What I was saying though, I'll randomly pick one patron a month. Then they can message me a movie suggestion.
If you do that, Cameron, we're not going to get a movie suggestion for 3 fucking months.
Can we talk about this after the pod?
Yes, thank you. All right. If you want to contact us, you can find us. Where the fuck can you find us, to be honest? Discord.io/HallOfGamers is usually the
I take offense to that.
Why?
You know why. Means I'm not doing my job.
Yeah,
we've got easily found.
Hall of Gamers pod is the place we do this on Twitch every week. You can come say hi, talk us in the chat, shit post. Talk about Fall Guys, apparently. Everyone's very excited about that. Otherwise, we have an email, hallofgamerspodcast@gmail.com or @hallofgamerspod on Twitter. Subscribe to us on your platform of choice. Leave us a review. Let us know. Word of mouth is always the biggest thing. Tell your friends. We really appreciate it. We are a smaller podcast, so we appreciate every one of our listeners. If you want writing questions, you can send them to any of those. Best place to do it is on our Discord. We have a channel for it. So we pick those out. But, we'll pull them from anywhere. Cameron, if you want to be found, do some shilling.
You can find me on Twitch, Instagram, Twitter. Fuck, where else? Discord, TA. I know, pretty much just Shadowless Edge. Anywhere. Streaming on Game of Cancer a little bit more recently too. So if you jump in there to support a good cause, chuck some money their way, because I've had some people in my life recently affected by cancer, and cancer sucks. Go fuck cancer. That's my shilling.
Brad, anything you want to talk about?
No, I'm good.
Easy.
You could have just said fuck cancer.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I think you said enough.
Alright, cool.
Charlotte.
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter mostly, so that's AudreyChar, and I'm on Twitch on Charmandosaurus_Rex. I also have my own Patreon, but if you want to support me, that's separate. That's irrelevant. And occasionally I post things on Instagram, but usually I'm on Twitter or Discord or Twitch.
And if you want to find me, Neomaster, everything, True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord. Also, fuck cancer.
Fuck cancer.
Yeah, fuck cancer.
And that's going to wrap up episode 44 of the Hall of Gamers podcast. We will catch you guys next week. See you later.
Thanks, guys, for watching.
Peace.